Welcome to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. We're going to cover all
of
your mortgage and real estate news today. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, doing this radio show for 27 years, selling real estate for 33. I'm alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger.
That's me.
We're going to talk about everything in the news today. Home prices are still up year over year. I'll buy your home. That annoying text message you get, that phone call you get from the call center in Mumbai. What to do about those? Planning for mom and dad's homes. We're going to talk about that. And also Airbnbs. Is it the way to go? So what do you got today, Bruce?
Well, I want to cover where rates are, what's happening with interest rates, where are the opportunities. I want to cover hometown heroes. And then I also want to cover, if you were interested in developing a portfolio of real estate, what do you do? How do you get started? So you and I have been through this process, and we've accumulated a lot of properties over the years, and I have had amazing success with that. Like, it's really set up. Thank God I have done it, because it set up my retirement. And I don't know about you. Are you getting a pension from real estate? Are you going to get a pension?
Well, I'm going to set myself up a little pension with my rentals.
But you're not getting a pension? The government's not?
No.
So you can't live off $2,300 a month from your Social Security?
Not counting on that.
So neither can I. So we set up this. But you know what? Cleve and I, we do this different than what you would pay to go to one of these $2,500 seminars for
I just heard one of those being advertised. I hadn't heard it in a while.
Back
I'm almost thinking I want to go there, wear some Clark Kent glasses and sit in the audience and ask goofy questions.
Here's the thing. You don't pay $2,500. You pay $25 per head to get into ours, $30 per couple. And that's just covering.
Well, we're going to teach people the right way to do it.
We are going to show them the mistakes we made, the successes we have, how to pick the right properties, which properties to stay away from, how to handle your tenants. Should you be a landlord? Should you hire a property management company? But everything from the entire steps, we want you to understand so that you don't make mistakes. If you'd like to join us, go to WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com. Register for our Leapfrog Wealth Building and Real Estate on June the 18th. Now, there's limited seats available. That's going to be, I think, are we doing that? Ale House in Winter Park, Florida. Yep. So go to WeBringYouHome.com. Please, serious people only. We only have room for people that really want to grow their portfolio of real estate. If that's you, then sign up right away.
It's just a simple way to do it, because it's like I run across most of my landlords, we manage a lot of property. Most of them kind of backed into being a landlord, didn't sell the house because they were upside down in 2010 or 11. Mom and dad left him a home. Mom and dad left him a couple homes. Aunt left him a house.
Right.
And I go over it with them. I'm like, well, hey, if you don't have to have this cash now, real estate's going to pay you 5 or 6%. Appreciation is going to be 3, 4, 5%. You got a tax right. I go through all these things with people. And because I run across very few people that come to me, Bruce, and go, hey, I've got the 30% to put down, because that's about what you almost need to cash flow nowadays.
Yeah, pretty close.
And do the DSCR loan.
30%.
Yeah, 25, 30%. And this is just a simple way to do it. And we're not selling snake oil. We're not asking for coaching money.
Why do you think so many investors are buying right now, but they don't care as much about the cash flow?
This is the bottom. And just the hard part to call is how long will it last?
Right.
Now, even at the bottom of slow sales, we're in a slow sales cycle, the slowest sales in probably 15 years in Central Florida. Excuse me. We are at a slow point. We don't know when it's going to start climbing.
No,
but prices are going up.
So why do you think these professional investors, and I'm talking about professional investors, are buying so many properties right now? So even though they don't have positive cash flow, you believe, and I'm with you on this. I just wanted to hear your opinion. I believe that they don't care about cash flow because they know the future is going to be equity. I think that that's what they're looking at. Now, we hadn't talked about this, but we dropped in prices. I'm not going to say value because I don't think it's a value drop. 2.8% from this time last year.
Yeah.
2.8%. So Do you think that our values dropped, or do you think that those are still the prices that were too high and cut back and are making a 3% adjustment?
Everybody selling is still making money unless they bought like in the last 2 years.
Right.
And so, and I've seen some people that bought 2 years ago make some money, but somebody's getting forced into a transfer, getting a great job. Those are people I'm turning into landlords too, instead of selling now. But the, the value hasn't come down, but there's more homes on the market. But I'm not seeing, I have maybe one distressed sale, Bruce, and it's probably the first one I've seen where the gentleman, he is broke.
Right.
And he literally, bless his little heart, it's just bad spending, bad decisions, job change, things like
we
that.
do see
But
that
but that's
time
the
to
only
time.
distressed property I've got where I had to tell the realtors, they're like, well, we don't see the value. I go, well, tell you what, it's not going to be a short sale and somebody's going to pay this price, but this is the price for the seller to walk away and
Right.
just break even and get out of it. That's the first time I've seen that.
So are you thinking that investing in real estate right now is just because you're getting in at the low end and you know that you're going to have increase in equity for the future? Is that what you'd be banking on right now?
I've got, yes, banking
Because
on the
that's what
equity.
I'm
And
banking
I'm banking
on.
on the rent, and the rent goes up every year.
The rent will go up, but right now, let's just say I bought a home for investment. I put 30% down, plus paid my closing costs, got some from the seller, but I literally, my payment and my rental income is about the same.
Yep.
I'm seeing that frequently, and I'm looking at, and I'm asking you because I ask other investors. I mean, I just closed 9 of them for a lady, and she's like, I don't care about positive cash flow. Look at my other properties that didn't positively cash flow when I bought them. And now she's selling, she sold 8 of them, made like 160 on each one.
Yeah.
So she's making a freaking killing on these things.
Well, I've seen home prices around the country right now. I got an article here from Inman. Home prices are still up around the country. Sales are still a little bit slower, slightly slower. But March was a funny month. Rates kind of dipped a little bit. Like I think we touched 6.5 maybe.
Yeah.
And sales actually beat last year.
Right.
But January, February, and
now
April
rates are back
not
up again a little bit.
So I've got my report from the board. They woke up. So I don't know if the Russians had hacked them or what, but we didn't get our numbers for March. They're still zeroed out. But
before we do that, I want you to give out your phone number and your email address.
407-352-8118 for your real estate plan or my free staging checklist, or you have a tenant not paying you rent. I will rattle their cage and get you paid, make that investment pay for you. CleveLoveland.com. You can reach me there. I'll be working all weekend.
Yep. Or you can call the loan arranger to get your application started. Listen, we like taking applications in person, on Zoom, or on the phone. But if you really want a link to our website to do an application, go to webringyouhome.com. Very easy, super easy to go through the process, very secure. But we are still very old fashioned here, to the point where we like to meet with clients. We like to look you in the eye. We like to go over all your numbers. We don't like surprises for you. Surprises aren't good. We want to be a consultant for you, not just the rocket mortgage where you apply for a loan and we tell you whether you're qualified or not. So everybody's got that dry cough going on right now.
Big news. What's going on with rates? Are we still floating in the high 6s?
Yeah, we are absolutely in the high 6s, low 7s right now. Things have popped back up just a little bit. However, this week was a bit of an improvement from where we were. Not a huge improvement, but it looked like the bonds have been trying to improve a little bit more.
We've had good inflation news. We just had weird stuff with the tariffs.
But a lot of these tariffs are being ironed out right now.
I did notice the Fed
liked it.
The Fed thought they might cut in June, and now there's like no chance.
Yeah, they're not going to cut.
So
in June.
That's good for mortgage rates.
I don't want them to cut rates anytime in the near future. Cutting interest rates on the Fed is going to make mortgage rates higher. If you don't understand that, you call me. I'll explain it to you. Or if we have time, maybe
question for you
later
Bruce.
On in one of these segments.
I want to talk about something here. I got a little lady, widower. I'm taking over. I took over all their property management. And we're looking at cleaning up. Husband passed away, unfortunately. We're going to clean up the rentals. There were some mortgages on the rentals, and she's in her 70s. Doesn't want mortgages, which I don't blame her. But there's enough equity in some of the properties. We're going to sell 3, pay off mortgages. She wants to sell her primary, move closer to the kids. She's found the home she wants to live in, and she's going to go ahead and do that. We haven't sold the rentals yet, but she's going to have a ton of cash coming to her in the next 3 or 4 months. Tell everybody what a recast is, not a refinance.
Okay. So oftentimes people that they don't have enough cash to maybe pay the property off or put as much of a down payment on their transaction as they'd like. And the reason for that is because they may have another house that has to sell. And if they have another house that has to sell, but it's not going to sell till after they purchase the new one, then they've got all this money. Well, if I did a 95% loan and you're paying PMI, and then all of a sudden 2 months later, you sold your own home and you got 20, 30, 40, 50% to put down, you want your payments then to reflect the new loan balance. But if you just threw, $300,000 at your mortgage, it would pay it off faster, but it wouldn't change the payment. Recasting literally changes the payment to reflect the new balance. And
you're not refinancing.
You're not
spending 10 grand to refinance.
Costs you $250. It's easy to do. You can do it one time.
Yep.
And it has to be for at least a $5,000 principal reduction. I don't even advise it.
Yeah, you need to.
I don't advise it, but some people do. But recasting is not available through a lot of lenders. We do it because we service 90% of the loans that we close.
You do. I still get your picture every month in my
There
mailbox.
you go. 407-250-9144 for the loan arranger, or 407-352-8118 for Cleve Loveland. If you have any questions, you can give us a call. We are available to help you. And we got a few more minutes, Cleve. So the Fed's not going to lower the Fed rate in June. We know that's
looking at that. That was
not,
a chance.
July is an opportunity. Maybe. But we're starting to see things improve a little bit. So I feel that the amount of inventory on the market right now is a huge buying signal. Mm-hmm. To me, that means I have more choices of properties. I have sellers that have to compete because there's more properties. I'm still seeing some competitive offers.
Inventory held, but sales jumped up. So we went from a 7-month supply, which we were teetering on a buyer's market,
down to a 5-month
supply, which shifted us out of that. So that's what's funny. I think if we
We're
get
more
rates,
balanced
we
than
get
buyers.
rates in the 6.25 and below, and you're touching into the 5s, we will be back to a 2-3 month market.
I agree
and you
with
will
that.
see multiple
But
offers on most of what's out there.
I cannot convince the general population. Yeah. Apparently, I'm not that good of an influencer. I cannot convince them to buy now because that's what's exactly going to happen. And you have all these buying signals right now. If you're not jumping into the market, I'm just telling you, you're making a mistake.
Well, I'm buying 4 this year.
I'm going to buy 2 this year.
I think it's and real quick, we got a couple minutes. DSCRs, jump into those. Tell everybody about that, because I'll probably use DSCRs.
Debt service coverage ratio is for investors that may not want to show their tax returns because maybe they have write-offs or some other reason they don't show enough income. Maybe they have multiple companies and don't want to produce a bunch of corporate tax returns. So this allows an investor, this is only done on investment property, not primary residence. Investment property, you put down your 20, 25, 30%, as long as the rent that's produced on the property is equal to your payment or greater. That's all the income you need to qualify. Now, you got to have good credit and you got to have skin in the game.
But wait a minute. How do we know that number? Oh, wait, I can do a rental analysis for you.
The appraiser does it. So you're not going to use short-term rental income. I had a guy come in, he goes, well, I'm making $4,000 a month on a $200,000 property.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but you're not going to use that income.
Yeah.
Now, I do have programs for people that need that, but that's a whole different animal. If
you've got programs for everything.
If you need short-term rental income, there are ways we can use that, but we try not to, because then you're adding to your interest rate, adding to your loan costs.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've covered some things on what's going on in the market. Rates are still holding steady. Realtors, I can't say enough about. Bruce rescued a deal for me this week. If you want to make sure your buyers are in the car and they understand the mortgage process and they can write an offer that has been fast-tracked where they are cash, they can tell that Bruce will call the seller and say, Mr. Seller, I guarantee this loan will close in the next 3 weeks.
I'll pay your seller up to $500 a day.
All right. You want to do that? Call the number.
407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Cleve Loveland.
All right, 407-352-8118. I'll be working all weekend. When we get back, we're going to talk about those pesky text messages you get on buying your house. Are they for real? We're going to dive into what to do with mom and dad's house also.
Be back in 5. Don't go anywhere.